Hi, you're listening to Behind the Bib podcast with Lisa Watkins. Real talk for every runner. Hi, y'all. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Bib, where we have real talk for every runner. I'm your host, Lisa Watkins, and I am delighted to be here this day with you. It is 4,000 degrees in Huntsville today with a chance of showers and thunderstorms every single day until the rest of the summer. So I hope you guys are staying cool and staying safe out there. All right, so no race this past weekend, and consequently, no park run either. That's usually my go-to if there's no race. And park run got canceled this weekend because of the lightning. Ironically, since today I'm actually talking to Alasdair Marshall, the brains and the organizer behind the Huntsville Park Run. And actually, I learned why it wasn't called Huntsville Park Run. It is called the Hayes Farm Park Run. It's in Southeast Huntsville or South Huntsville every Saturday morning, and it is a free timed 5K. So you can go out there, you can walk it, you can run it, you can race it. There are tail walkers to make sure that there's no runner left behind. There's course marshals to make sure you stay on the course, unlike some other races out there that I've participated in. So it's all just wonderful things. And Alasdair came on the show to tell you all about it. And we had a wonderful conversation. And just what a delightful soul he is. I think that you all are all going to enjoy it very, very much. To those of you who have gone out and who have liked and who have followed and who have shared and who have done all of the things, thank you so very much. Every single time you do that, I'm not lying, y'all. Every single time you do it, you do a like, you do a follow, you do a share, you do a save. It just helps the algorithm. And if you think this content helps you and it might help other people, please engage like that. It really is important. And because I can't control where it gets sent once it's out of my hands. I can a little bit, right? But really, it's the engagement that is so important and gets the content in front of other people, other runners like you and me. So if you have done that, thank you so very much for doing that. I appreciate it so very, very much. All right. And also, while I'm saying thank yous, a big, huge thank you and a shout out to the Back of the Pack podcast with Kyle Walker. I really appreciate the shout out. Recently he recorded an episode that talked about the Southern races, and it was a fantastic episode. And I just have like one little piece, right? So I will give you Texas. I started out with some Texas races in there. I'll give you Texas. I'll even give you Florida, although that can be debatable. Like, depending on who you ask, is Florida the South? Is Florida not the South? A lot of people say Florida is New Jersey, just in the South. Okay, maybe Florida. I'll give you Texas, maybe Florida. But I absolutely draw the line at Ohio being in the South, okay? I get the Flying Pig is fantastic. Actually, I really want to do Flying Pig. If you go out there and you Google search the top 5 or top 10 funnest half marathons in America, the Flying Pig will absolutely come up. And I have wanted to do that race for a while. I would love to go to maybe next year. Maybe next year is my year to go doing the Flying Pig. But what I won't do is the Flying Pig in the South, because the Flying Pig is in Ohio. And Ohio is not in the South. If they don't have sweet tea, okay, let me say this again. If they don't have sweet tea, it's not in the South. All right. So that said, maybe we do a little episode that talks about the Behind the Bib favorite races in the South. I was talking to some of my run buddies this morning. I was like, hey, that might be pretty fun, actually, because we've done some pretty kick-ass little, shouldn't have said that. We've done some pretty kick-ass little races down here in the South, and I'm pretty proud of them. Actually, we have a fantastic one here in Huntsville. So I might tell you a little bit about that one. And we also talked about doing the Urban Bourbon too. That's one other race that I have not done, but I have heard lots of good things about. So we might put that on the race calendar for next year. We shall see. That sounds like a super fun little thing to go do. I've wanted to do that for a while as well. But anyway, thank you so much for the mentionings. It does look like that I'll be doing a response to your Southern races out there back of the pack with my own Southern races from the Voice of the South. Speaking of voices from the South, thank you so much for those of you who have commented out there on the podcast or given it a rating. I would actually so I know that we have gotten comments, and I know that it takes a minute or two to put a rating in, but would you please just give it the little 5-star rating? That would be super cool because it does help. And just take a second and go click, 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 done, and that's it. It's so easy. It's so easy to do. I would really love it if you could do that. And I would appreciate it from the very bottom of my heart. That brings us to the next segment called Good Reviews and Bad Jokes. So if you leave me a comment or a good review, either on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I will call you out and give you a bad joke. This week's goes out to listener Christy Harris. Thank you so much for the comment on the recent episode. Today's bad joke goes out to you out there doing all of the brave things. Okay. Why did the orange lose the race? Because it ran out of juice. But the crowd goes wild. Not really. I'm going wild though. All right. Thank you guys for staying with me through all of those bad jokes. I know my children probably cringe every single time I do it. It's okay. I live to embarrass them. It's one of the few things you get as a parent. You can embarrass your kids. It's just wonderful. All right, folks, y'all stay tuned where I get to talk to Alasdair Marshall, the brains, the beauty, and the brawn behind bringing Park Run to Huntsville. I will put the link down below for you to register. It's absolutely free, timed 5K here in Huntsville. You can run it, you can walk it, you can race it. I'll pick the link down below. All right, we'll see you on the other side of talking to Alasdair. Y'all take care. See you in a minute. All right, so greetings, Alasdair. Welcome to Behind the Bib.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Okay, so you and I connected, it was through Park Run because I think that's the first time I actually met you. Yeah, it was because my running buddy Cheryl had been talking about Park Run coming to
Oh, yeah.
Huntsville for several months, right? And she's like, "Oh, I'm so excited for Park Run to come." And I had to look, I didn't know what Park Run was. And I had to look it up and I found out about all of the things. And I thought, oh my gosh, that was great. And I came to your preview run before it started.
Yep.
And then, and so Jeff was like, Jeff Plain, of course, he was like, oh, hey, you've got to come over and meet Alasdair. He is the organizer and the brains behind all of this. And let me tell you, I was so impressed with just your whole persona and the energy that you put into everything. It was so humble. I don't know if this is an English thing, but it was just so humble and so polite and so wonderful. I was like, dear sir, can you please come on my
Please.
podcast?
And I'm also even, despite having started parkrun and lived in 3 countries and all this stuff, I'm quite an introvert as well. So it's like, but I can do this. I can.
You can do this. I mean,
Yeah.
it is. And I noticed that after a few, you got a bullhorn. You had to get the
Oh, yeah.
bullhorn to do the things.
We were talking after was it during, maybe it was during the preview or one of the previews, Jeff said to me, look, you got to be louder. You got to be
Okay.
like me. And I can try, but I fail.
Ye- We can all try to be like Jeff Plain, but
Yeah.
we will all fall short of that bar for sure.
So the
Um,
bullhorn was the solution. And plus, it's got the little siren that can just do at the start as well to get everyone's attention.
I know it's great. It's great. Maybe Pud Rum should all Jeff, close your ears if you're listening. Maybe we should all pitch in and get Jeff one for Pud, although he doesn't really need it.
He doesn't
But
know.
the more people that come to that though, I mean, his pub run is getting so large that it's like the size of a 5K every time
Yeah.
now, and he has to talk over all that. I don't know how he does it, but park run is going to get there because it seems like it's just growing and growing, which is excellent. But before we get into park run, let's talk about you a little bit because that's one of my favorite things to do on the podcast is just to get to know other runners because, everybody runs different paces and we might not
Yeah.
necessarily get to run and get to know each other very well. So let's talk about Alasdair now that you told me that you're an introvert. Let's put it out there on the airwaves. Okay, so how did you get into running? Like, have you just done it forever since you were a child? What was the thing? What got you into it?
Uh, how do I put this? I was a very unathletic child. So
Mm,
definitely not in childhood. I was living in, how old was I now? I was probably, yeah, I was 30, just turned 31. I think I was living in Adelaide in South Australia. And
mm,
my colleagues at work were talking about running this thing called the City to Bay. It's
okay.
a it's a yearly event that goes from the city of Adelaide down just to the coastline. It's about 12, it's a
Uh-huh.
12K race. I was thinking, you
Okay.
people are crazy. I'm never going to do that. So I didn't. So that was 2007. But then fast forward to 2008, I kind of got roped into it. So they were doing like some training. So I did the training with them. And yeah, I ran the city. Well, yeah, I completed the city to Bay in Adelaide, South Australia in 2008. And then from then on, it's kind of just like those occasional big sort of fun runs I would
Uh-huh.
enter. There's the one in Sydney called City to Surf, similar thing as Sydney City to Bondi Beach. Um,
Okay.
I lived in Melbourne, in Australia for a year, and I did a Melbourne version as well. So I was just doing these little fun runs, and
Hmm.
until it was I don't know what happened. 2016, it was the year I was going to turn 40, and I joined a running club in Sydney, the Sydney Front Runners, and I just started running around with them in Sydney Centennial
Uh-huh.
Park on a Saturday morning. So
Uh-huh.
um, I just started thinking, yeah, I'm getting a bit quicker at this. And then I started they did a joint training every Monday night with another running club. They had the same coach, so we did a joint training on a Monday night, just
Uh-huh.
regular training for no specific event, although we would enter events. And I was getting quicker and quicker. I thought, I'm enjoying this now. Like I became
Uh-huh.
competitive. It was like
Oh,
I wasn't a
okay.
competitive person, but I was thinking, I am getting competitive. And that's how it really started. Then I carried on in Sydney. From that group, I joined the more serious part of the running club called Athletics East and started track training. We had like training three or four times a week with the coach.
Wow,
Um,
really?
yeah,
With a
it
coach
was
and everything.
yeah, it was intense, but fun, and I was still enjoying it. And I was running with fast people, so from there, I was like, I caught the bug.
Oh,
I
okay.
had a friend living in New York City, and I thought, well, I can maybe combine visiting him and
Uh-huh.
maybe entering a race. So I entered the lottery for the 2018 New York City Half Marathon, and I got
Okay.
accepted to that. So
Uh-huh.
that was that to this day, that's probably I think that's my best ever race because I
Really?
trained hard through Sydney summer,
Uh-huh.
and then the event was March 2018. So I left Sydney summer, flew to New York City where
Oh.
it was cold,
Mm-hmm.
um, very cold, but very enjoyable. Yeah, and that was one of my best and favorite races ever. So that was kind of how it progressed. So from the unathletic child who sort of moved to Australia and then started doing some fun runs to um, joining a running club and then thinking, yeah, I can take this a bit more seriously now. I'm getting
Hmm.
competitive.
Oh, nice. If I ever take it seriously, just come and get me because I'm still not there. I'm still not there. I pet all the dogs and take all the pictures and do all the things.
Yeah.
Was that the first time you had been to the US?
It wasn't actually. I've actually first visited in 2009 for a friend's wedding. So
Gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah,
But you
that
hadn't
was
caught the
the
bug yet.
yeah 2009 was just going to. I go off on tangents and conversations. 2009, I remember very well flying into Pittsburgh, getting in the rental car, driving on
Uh-huh.
an interstate, and then coming off on the slip lane, and then turning left into oncoming traffic.
I was fixing to say, how did you do that? Because, okay, yeah, the
Oh
transition
yeah,
between
yeah.
left-hand driving and
Mm.
right-hand driving, and that's the
It's
thing.
fun. Since then, I've also been to England on one occasion to visit my family, and I started to drive around the roundabout in the wrong direction. And my friend in the car with me just yells. It was fine. Everything was fine.
That's funny. If
Mm.
you would have got a ticket, it would be hilarious to see the cop. Like, because you would obviously talk, right? And they would be like, wait a second.
Where are you from?
You should know. You should know this. You should know this. You started in South Australia, and then I'm not familiar with the Australia geography
Yeah,
or anything like that, but I know that you kind of moved all around for a little bit before you brought Parkrun to the US. Throughout all of those different travels and all of those different races and experiences, have you had a favorite running story? Like, what is your favorite running story so far? I know we've still got miles to go,
yeah.
but so far, do you have one?
I think probably maybe two. We'll do the funny one.
Ooh,
The funny
ooh,
one will
okay.
be you reminded me the other week with your podcast. I was no longer living in Adelaide in South Australia. I was living in Sydney, and I would travel to Adelaide for the weekend to visit friends and family. Um, and entered Adelaide's, what do they call it? I think they call it Adelaide Marathon Festival. And there's a marathon, half
Yes.
marathon, 10K in the same day.
Ooh, okay.
Oh yeah.
A
Why do they
marathon
do
and a
that?
10K on the same day.
Yeah. So the
You did
marathon.
that?
Oh no. I mean the three events are occurring at the
Oh, I
same
was like,
time.
oh my
Yeah.
God, I can't even imagine.
But it
Okay.
can be those things can be problematic. So the marathon started off, the um, half marathon started off next, and then ready for the 10K. We're ready to go. And this was in
Mhm.
my probably my peak speedy point of my running life, my
Okay.
short running life. And
Your
it's like,
peak
okay,
cheetah.
so peak cheese, and off we go. And I was in third place, and we were like running, run. And I was just thinking, shouldn't we have turned around by now?
Oh no.
Oh, yes. So, yeah, we realized we were following the half marathon course, and the marshal hadn't been in place to tell us at that point to turn around.
Oh no. What did you
Mm.
do?
I actually I gave up. So when I got back, it started at Adelaide Oval, which is where they have their cricket and football. And when I got back to the Oval, I thought, oh, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. I'll just stop here.
Mhm.
I think the other first two, I think four of us went wrong, and the others did complete. And I think they adjusted their times. I thought, well, oh, that's a shame, but things
Yeah.
happen. I got a free entry the next year.
Nice.
And I did
Nice.
return. It went okay. I did doubt it. I had doubts at one point, and I just said to a volunteer, "Is this the 10K course?" Yeah, it's fine. And I finished. That's fine.
Just to be clear, I don't know if you listened to the Bodies Race Company, the one that I did in Atlanta. It was a half marathon
Yeah.
that we swept. Oh my God, absolute utter chaos the whole time. We were talking about it this morning on our run. I mean, in the end, like you never, I guess you do talk about the races. You're like, wow, everything went perfectly. But boy, we're still talking about how awful that race was. But yeah, they did the thing where they didn't have the marshal. So, which is one fantastic thing about Parkrun because you have all of the volunteers. The organization is great. Like, and you do this every single Saturday, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about this. How did you first get involved in Parkrun? Like, what was your first
Yeah.
experience, and then how did you bring it to Huntsville?
So I had to check up on this. I was looking through my park run history.
You were
So,
like,
funnily
wait, how did I
enough,
get involved?
I'd heard of park run. I was living in Sydney. Park run was there are a ton of park run events in Sydney now.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
but I didn't do it in Sydney. Again, where was I going for the weekend? I was going to Adelaide in South Australia to visit family and friends. So I thought, oh, okay. They've got these park runs. Again, there were several to choose from, and I chose one on the beach, a lovely one called West Beach Park Run.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
And that was the first one, and that was in August 2016. I went back to check that out, and because all your
Mhm.
park run results are still all on your profile, so you can always see
Uh-huh.
what you've done in the past. So that was it. And then the next one, I was amused by this, was, oh, I was back in Adelaide in South Australia a couple of weeks later. I can't remember what would have taken me back to Adelaide again so
Hmm.
soon, but I was there again.
Uh-huh.
Um, Then I think I did one in England then, visiting probably my family for Christmas. And then
Hmm.
I started going to one in Sydney, which was Sydney Centennial Parklands. I started just doing some volunteering. There
Hmm.
was a guy and I used to do this course setup quite often, which we had to start at 6 a.m. because it was a 7 a.m. park run start.
Oof, oof.
Just started volunteering, and then that worked out well because my club's training started at 8 a.m. So park run's done. We can do park run, do the
Uh-huh.
barcode scanning, and then go off and do my training. So I kind of started becoming a bit more hooked then.
Wow. Yeah, you like it went, yeah,
Yeah,
all the Kool-Aid. You drank all of the
yeah.
Kool-Aid
And
then.
so popular, they're like, hundreds of people will go to each event and thinking, where are all these people coming from? You got like
Hmm.
five park runs within sort of 10 miles of each other, and they're getting hundreds of people are
Yeah, it's
crazy.
like a Starbucks or
Yeah.
I don't know, Dollar General. How do we have so many Dollar Generals in the South? I don't understand. It's like they've just popped up everywhere. But I wish we could have a Seven Brews. Like that's the one that's actually growing. I don't know if you've been to a
Oh,
Seven Brew
not
yet, but
yet.
yeah, but I haven't met a runner that doesn't like caffeine. But if you do like caffeine, Seven Brew is like the place.
Oh,
They've got one over on 72 and then one, I think there's one what I saw it was like maybe Decatur. There's a Seven Brew in Decatur, but it's great. Anyway, I digress as well. So you you had gone to these different park runs, and
yeah.
then at some point in your past you moved to the US, and then
Yeah.
at some point you moved to Huntsville.
It was a very, very badly timed move to the US. I was, again, going off on a tangent. So it was March 2020,
Oh.
waiting for my Australian passport to arrive back with me from the US consulate in Sydney with a fiance visa.
Oh,
It was getting
okay.
quite stressful. It arrived by courier on Wednesday, the 18th of March at about 8:30 a.m. I remember obviously very
Two
well.
days?
I texted my boss and said, "So the passport's arrived. I've just booked flights. I'm leaving at lunchtime. Bye." So I worked at the University of Sydney. They were so flexible. That's
Oh,
another
that's
story.
wonderful.
And so I
Yeah.
was able just to like pack up, pack. I was staying with friends by that point, so I just packed up and I left. I flew to Washington Dulles International Airport, where Alan picked me up. I was thinking this is going to be great because I can. It's still an hour and a half drive from where we were living, but I wanted to do Roosevelt Island Parkrun in DC. Of course, it didn't take
Gotta
place
get one in.
it didn't take place that weekend
Oh no.
because everything had shut down. So it was like, okay,
It was
um,
right at the beginning of
yeah,
all of the shutdowns. I'm surprised. Boy, you just squeaked in there,
just
didn't
did.
you?
Yeah, yeah. It was an interesting experience, interesting time. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
we spent a bit of time in Northern Virginia.
Uh-huh.
We've moved to Atlanta for a little while, just buy Alan's grandmother's house and do a house renovation. That's when a
Uh-huh.
park run got running up and running again. So I was able to go to Atlanta's North Side Beltline Park
Oh,
Run.
got you.
Before we ended up back in DC, and Roosevelt Island became my weekly, I guess, ritual. So I was made good friends there. It was just my thing,
Okay.
my park run friends, and I'd go to Roosevelt Island most weeks. I'd do course setup and maybe run as well, and then maybe we'll
Uh-huh.
go for coffee. And it's just like that's the building of community. It was like these are my people.
These are my people. You found your people.
Yeah,
You know, that is a thread that has run all the way. It's so funny. Every episode where I have an interview and I'm talking to somebody, whether it's a race director, a run club director, a park run director, everyone brings up the community. And
yeah,
it's just incredible because that's really one of the most powerful things I think about the run. And park run just being, well, okay, so let's back up a little. Tell us what parkrun is, because you and I are sitting here talking, and we're using all this thing, and some people might be out there saying, "So what? They like meet at the park on Saturday mornings and they just run." So tell us what parkrun is. It's
yeah.
a thing,
It's
right?
a thing.
Parkrun. What is it?
Parkrun. So it started in, I believe it was 2004 in a park in London. It was a guy called Paul Sinton Hewitt started Parkrun as a just like a 5K time trial with some of his friends, and
Oh,
that was the beginning. That's how it started
didn't
as a
know that.
time trial. as a
Uh-huh.
time trial, and it's just evolved from there. And then obviously people started going. I think it became officially became known as Park Run, and then eventually they started the Park Run as a non-profit organization and were starting other events in England and the United Kingdom.
Okay.
Started spreading to other countries. It's now in 23 countries around and two over 2,300 Park Run events every week around the world.
2,300, over 2,300.
Yeah,
Isn't that incredible? That's super
crazy.
cool.
And it's not officially, so it started as a time trial.
Uh-huh.
Officially, it's not a race. It's just an event where people can get together to walk, to run, jog. If you want to race it, you can race it. So,
Mhm.
a park run event will have a course record. And I think ours was, oh no, these are stats I should check on, but I haven't got them to hand. But yeah, we obviously we have course records because we have the male and female record for our new run. But
Oh,
yeah, you can
my
do
bet
whatever
is
you
on
want.
Josh or Dylan.
Dylan was the male. We'll find out who the female record is.
Okay.
I should know this, but I should know this. That's terrible. But yeah,
Okay.
so it's whatever you want it to be. Just come out to a location where a park run is happening. Just there are people that will come to park run who don't actually take part. They'll just come to volunteer. It's
Mhm.
incredible. That's
Like
the
my husband. My
yeah,
husband
oh,
does that.
yeah. He has on several occasions now.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep.
And then the most important part seems to be the post park run coffee or whatever. And
Mhm.
we've been going to the Mexican restaurant by Home Depot, El Vaquero.
Uh-huh. Ah, you remembered it. I never remember El Vaquero. Um,
Coffee is available and other drinks.
True statement. It really is wonderful. So parkrun, wow, over 2,300 every Saturday. So it's a free timed 5K.
Yep.
And our park run is held at Hayes Farm in, is that considered Southeast Huntsville or just South Huntsville? Um,
Just South Huntsville. Yeah,
South
it is.
Huntsville.
It is to the south. Yes, it's south in the southeast Huntsville.
Okay.
Um,
Over by the new Grissom High School, right?
yeah,
So it's in that new Hayes Farm development area where there's the
yeah.
new greenway and all of that stuff.
And we're
Uh,
using it's called the Elgies Walk Greenway. And I realized
okay.
all of the parts of the greenway there and the parts of the trails are named after members of the Hayes family. So that was quite interesting to find out. So
Did
Elgie
not know.
Hayes was a person.
Oh, okay. LD Hayes is
Yeah.
the where the greenway is. Okay.
And then
All
we go
right.
around the John's Retreat Trail is the lap we do around the pond, and John Hayes is another member of the Hayes family.
So it's the greenway's named after all of the
Yeah.
Hayes family members.
Yeah.
Interesting. I learned something. I
And
love to learn
because,
things.
yeah, and because we start near so we've got the Grissom High School, we've got the
Mhm.
Hayes Farm Clubhouse, and then we've got the new sports fields over the other side of Hazeland Road. We've got all that parking available. So aside from
Mhm.
the fact there's not a lot of shade at our start and finish line,
True statement.
it's a great location for it. And then as we head off on our run walk, then we're in a lot of shade from the trees on the greenway. But as you
But
said, it's timed and it's all very low. It's kind of low tech. The volunteers that are helping us will use the app, the Parkrun app to time the events. And then
mhm,
everyone has their personal barcode that you get when you register for the one and only time with Parkrun. You get your barcode that you can use at any Parkrun event.
mhm,
And then the times and your barcodes get matched up with a finishing token you get handed when you cross the finish line. And all
mhm,
that just goes into the Parkrun system in the cloud. And then that's what gives you your results.
mhm,
And then every park run you do is then tracked and saved into your profiles. You can always go back and see which park runs you've done, see all your times and your personal bests and your stats and all
mhm.
that kind of stuff is all saved in there. So it's really quite cool. Just
It really
from
is.
and it started off when in the early days of parkrun, they were using these little manual barcode scanning things, and then they had to like connect them up to USB to a
Ooh,
laptop,
that
and
sounds
then
complicated.
yeah, I'm glad I wasn't involved at that point. It does sound a bit complicated, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds complicated, but it's wonderful because it is a fast, flat course. It's sh the start and finish line are not quite as shaded, but the rest of the course is shaded. It runs around a nice pond out there that no longer has alligators in it, is my understanding.
We
Which is
believe there are. Again, we've talked about risk assessments at one point, and we chatted about that. And yeah, I have a risk. My risk assessment mentions the alligator. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay, I
yeah.
guess you did have to fess up to that.
If it was cited, well, yeah, if it was cited, obviously, if it was on the path, we'd be cancelling. I'm calling
Yeah,
Parks and
like
Recreation and the police and whoever. I'd be,
yeah. Wouldn't that be like, I wonder if any other park run has ever canceled due to an
An
alligator being on the
alligator,
course?
yeah.
Wouldn't
It'd be quite
that be?
unique.
Yeah, I know. That would be hilarious. Okay. Are there any, so I've you have the marshals out there. My husband's very good at pointing, so he stands out and at one of the turnaround spots, and then you have people at the other turnaround spots. So unlike the races that you and I both did that did not have a marshal to keep you on the correct course, you do have marshals that keep you
Yeah,
on the correct course.
yeah,
And then you also have tail walkers so that no runner is left behind.
yep.
And so, is there any cutoff times for park run, or like, are you out there for a certain amount of
No.
time,
So
or?
the tail you can take as long as you like, and the tail walker will always be behind you. So really, there is absolutely no rush. If you
I
turn
love
up
that.
late, if you turn up late, doesn't matter. If you turn
Uh,
up late and you're running, as long as you can get past those tail walkers, you're
uh-huh.
fine.
You
So
can if you can
you
catch
can,
up to them and then stay in front
yeah.
of them. Yeah.
We had a couple of people that were late, I think on the second or third time we did it, and it was like, no, it's fine. They caught up and they overtook the tail walkers, so it's fine.
Yeah, they just called on up. Oh, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. I just love it. I love everything about the park run. And but you do need folks to register though. I mean they can just show up if they have their phone, they can register there, but
Yeah.
you do recommend folks register ahead of time, right?
Yeah. And if they you can register from the Parkrun USA website, which is just parkrun.us.
Uh-huh.
And then as soon as you register, you'll get a welcome email.
Hmm.
And you can always keep that welcome email. And from that welcome email, you can click a link that takes you directly into your Parkrun profile.
Hmm.
Also, once you've taken part or volunteered at a park run event, you also will get a link in an email. So you can always save another email. Again, that's got a link to your profile.
Hmm.
When you're in your profile, this is one thing I've put on Facebook a few times now.
Hmm.
By signing up to Parkrun and selecting Hayes Farm Parkrun as your home event, you don't automatically get our emails, which is not very handy, especially in the case of yesterday when we had to
Yeah,
cancel
when
at
you had
short
to
notice.
cancel. That's right. Yeah.
So I can only communicate to people that have signed up to the email. So I just say to people, once you
Ah.
signed up, just when you're in your Parkrun profile, go to the email options and opt into the Hayes Farm Parkrun emails, and then we can
Hmm.
send you emails like yesterday when we if in the for when an unexpected cancellation happens or when we're short of volunteers. So that's always a
Yeah.
useful thing to do.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
when, and once you've registered, you get again, from your profile, you get your parkrun barcode, which you can
Very
print.
important.
Very
The
important.
barcode.
You can print it out, you can screenshot it and save it on your phone. If you've got a Garmin watch, other watches are available. There's an app from the what's the Garmin store called? I can't remember that. Whatever the
Connect,
Garmin
Garmin
store
Connect.
app is, yeah, you can add a
Hmm.
park run widget and then you can get your barcode on your Garmin phone. There's a app where you can save it onto I think you can save it onto your Apple Watch through a third party app and your iPhone. So
Okay, I haven't tried to do that. Okay.
there are ways to do it. So diehard parkrun fans, you can go to the parkrun. It's the very British word, the parkrun shop, um, and you can actually order your barcode and have it printed on the little wristband that they'll send to you from England. So yeah,
Really? And
yeah.
just,
And I've
hmm,
already seen one of those at Hayes Farm, so someone has already ordered one. I was like, yeah,
really? I
excellent,
might have
yeah.
to do that. That's kind of fun. Although, like, I took the thing and I just screenshotted because I guess I'm this old, but I just screenshotted the barcode but Jerry did show me like how to connect the parkrun barcode so that it shows up on my Garmin, and which I almost always have on my Garmin, but sometimes I forget and I do have my Apple Watch. Um, but I always have my phone.
Yeah.
So like that's my easiest is I took a screenshot of the barcode and then I saved it to my favorites.
Yeah, and
And
some people keep it in the car. And one issue we have is when you handed your finishing token at the end,
uh-huh.
there, as we will say, it's not a souvenir, and they make terrible fridge magnets. Please return your finish token. But people might wander off and just forget. But if anyone listening, if that ever happens, it's fine. Just bring it back next time. That's fine. Um,
Nice.
but yeah,
Nice.
the finishing tokens aren't a souvenir, but people will go to their car and get the phone and come back, and that's absolutely fine. There's no
Mhm.
order to the scanning at the end. So
Mhm.
that token you get is your placing. So even if you come back 10 minutes later to get your token and your barcode scanned, you're still fine.
You're still fine.
Yeah.
Have you lost any barcodes so far?
We lost number one at our trial event. Um, but the
The
guy was like
irony.
he emailed and he actually drove it to my. There's like no need. I could have come to him. We could have met somewhere, but he actually drove it to my house. It's like that's very
Oh,
kind.
it was
Um,
very kind.
we lost another that re was returned next week, and we've only lost one so far, which has not been returned. And you might
Okay.
think, so what do we do in this
Pretty
case?
good.
It's okay. We have blank barcodes and we have a barcode stickers, so we just take like the number 8 sticker and stick it on a new token, and then we're done. So
And you're all good. Hmm.
Parkrun also, as part of their trying to encourage people to walk, they introduced a role called the Park Walker. So you can put on a blue jacket and just walk at your own pace, or walk with other people. If there are other people walking, just
Uh-huh.
try and chat with the people walking the park run.
Nice. Oh, okay, I like
So
that.
many options available, and
But,
I've been so like I've been blown away. I was thinking like a week or two before starting this,
mhm.
got to get these volunteers every week. It's like, what have I done? This is going to be like I'm just not going to get people. Perhaps I'm slightly
Yeah.
pessimistic as well as an introvert, but
Yeah.
we've had like a great support so far.
Hmm.
So it's
It
been
seems like you
quite,
have a lot of volunteers every
yeah.
week. And there's even some chatter amongst the volunteers like, oh, I want to get my 10 in so I can get my 10 volunteer shirt. I've heard some folks talking about that. So there's a little
Yeah.
bit of flexing going on with the parkrun volunteer status. So
It's 25 for your first shirt.
25 for your first shirt?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So we've got so 26 individuals have volunteered on 66 occasions. So we've had 26 people volunteer so far, and therefore, a lot of repeat volunteering, which has been amazing. So we're
Yeah.
definitely building that community already.
Oh, it's wonderful. Isn't it just wonderful? It
Yeah.
just makes my heart so happy. So tell me how folks, so besides listening to this, and I'm going to put obviously, I always put the links down below, and I've actually included links to park runs on several of the podcasts so far, especially if I'm reviewing a race that wasn't great. I'll say, you know what you should do? You should go do a park run instead of this race. And I'll provide the link to go register down below. So, how can people find out more about Parkrun? Like, what are your socials? Are you on Instagram, on Facebook? Like, tell us all of the things.
Yeah. So far, we are on. This could be another a volunteer position. If you help me
Oh,
out with the Facebook and the Instagram, you can get a volunteer credit. Actually, seriously, these people can help. If anyone's like listening to this and they're good with social media, let me know.
oh, okay.
But
Act-
we're on Facebook. Just search Hayes Farm Park Run.
Okay.
Or on Instagram, same handle as Hayes Farm Park Run. So those
Uh-huh.
are the two socials at the moment. I did get as far as linking Instagram to Threads somehow, and I have not done anything with it because that's just getting a little bit too much for one person to handle.
I understand. And I really, between you and me, I just don't understand threads yet.
I
Is
don't either
it,
know.
yeah, is it just the antithesis to X, what used to be Twitter? I don't know. I don't understand the threads thing yet. And I see people, growing out there, and I cross posts from Behind the Bib also, like I've got it posting over, but I don't understand the threads thing yet either. So maybe somebody out there can educate us
Hmm.
both because I don't understand the purpose. But I think we said that when Instagram first came out too, and
Yeah,
maybe
probably.
also
Yeah.
TikTok. So,
I'm in my late 40s now, so like maybe new
yep,
technologies don't come easily. I don't know.
me too. Me too. Gen X, hardcore there. So okay. Well, that tells us a little bit how folks can access the
Yeah.
registration, where to find out more information,
And we
tells us
do
what part.
have,
Oh,
oh
go
yeah, we
ahead.
do. Sorry, yeah, we do have a page on the parkrun.us website as well. So you
Oh,
can
of
go to
course,
the, yeah,
right?
just go to parkrun.us. There's a link for events, and then you'll see all the events, and you
You're
can
listed down there.
just look down Alabama, and we're the only one in Alabama, and then you can get
I
to us
was
that
fixing
way.
to say, do you know just off the top of your head? If you don't, that's fine. Like, what's the next closest one?
Oh, I
Maybe
think it's
Nashville or
I think
Atlanta?
Atlanta by distance is the closest, and
Okay.
then Knoxville.
Oh,
There's one called Third Creek Greenway Park Run, which I haven't yet visited. I think that's the closest one time-wise to get to, maybe.
wow. Okay. So there
And then
really aren't that many in the Southeast yet.
no,
And so really Huntsville having one is spectacular.
yeah, and,
Just
and that's why it's just been fascinating. I may be skipping ahead, but parkrun tourism is just a huge thing. People travel around the well, people do travel around the world for parkrun events. There are challenges. So one of the parkrun challenges is to complete a parkrun that starts with every letter of the alphabet. One of
Oh,
those
fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. One of those means you have to go to the Netherlands for one of the park runs. I think that's for the Z. Sorry, the Z. Oh, I'm showing my
Oh, that's
English. It
how you
sounds
get
like
Z.
yeah, you have to go to the Netherlands. So parkrun tourism is a thing. So I was blown away. We had like, we had the six visitors, I think, for our first parkrun event at Ace Farm from different parts of the US
Oh,
because
that's fantastic.
they wanted to come to an inaugural parkrun. And then
That's
then the next week we had more US visitors, but we had the couple from Auckland, New Zealand. So
oh.
and they had dive so they were in the US for a conference,
Hmm.
but they had changed their plans to come to Huntsville, especially to do a new park run. I was like, this is crazy. And then the next week, a similar story. There was a young lady from Melbourne in Australia who was
I
in
remember
the
that one.
country, and she was then heading down to I have to say your way, the Birmingham. Well, I'd say
Birmingham. Yeah, Birmingham.
Birmingham. I think the English way is like Birmingham. She was going to Birmingham for an event. So yeah,
Oh,
it's been
see, you did the
crazy.
English one again. Birmingham.
Birmingham. And then a family from Pensacola were here the following week. So it's like
That, it's just wonderful. Yeah, the parkrun tourism thing is a thing.
it's a thing.
It's
Yeah.
truly a thing. It's like the Ryan Shroom hats for the
Oh,
right? I'm like it was just a hat at the Freedom Run. It's just a hat. Ryan Shroom gave Jerry like these hats just as a giveaway thing, and it has become such a coveted item, the Ryan Shroom hats for the Freedom Run. But anyway, it's great. It's great. It's a thing. And I've noticed like there's lots of, you have a new visitor every time and people
yeah.
come to your park run specifically to attend the H. You get the H. The Hayes. Is it the I guess it would be the Hayes Farm Park Run, right? It would be the H in the
Yeah.
alphabet.
It'd be the
Yeah,
H. Yeah.
challenge.
There's a potential it was going to be an E. We did some negotiation. I'm doing a
Oh,
tangent, going off one of my tangents again.
okay.
Park Run in the older days, they would allow it to be like called Huntsville Park Run.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
then in countries like Australia and the UK, where you could have multiple park runs in one city or one town, that became problematic. So they try and narrow it down to like the sort of
Yeah.
lowest denominator. So ours could have been Elgie's Walk Park Run, named after the trail. But
Oh,
they allowed
okay.
Hay. But I thought Hayes people were starting to know the name Hayes Farm and associating it with an area of Huntsville. So
Where to
I think that was
go?
the best decision. So I pushed a little for that. It's like okay, we'd like it to be called Hayes Farm Park Run.
Hayes Farm Park Run. Very nice. I think that was a good decision. So, I'm training for the Every Woman's Marathon this fall. So we're going to be trying to get some folks together that are doing that marathon, training in different locations around the city. But I also thought maybe I'd talk to you about tagging on to Park Run, like we could come early and do,
Yeah,
before the mileage gets really up there, before we're doing 15, 16 miles, but while we're doing 7, 8, 9, you could come early, do 3 or 4 miles, do Park Run, and then stay and do 3 or 4 more miles, right? And you get,
yeah.
a good 12 pretty easy.
There's a lot to
Uh,
explore. There's on the other side of Hazeland Road, there's once it's all finished, there are going to be about 10 miles of trails around the Hayes Farm area. A lot of them are already in place. They just haven't been sort of what's the word? They haven't been paved by the city. So
oh,
um,
okay.
there's interesting to hear. I heard the background to this is fascinating. So when they started the development, um, they like raised the plots of land. So they were digging out all of the earth, which then makes the ponds that are around there, and they're moving all of that earth to sort of raise all the plots where the houses are going to be built. And the developers,
That's where the ponds are from.
yeah. And that's why
Okay.
if you look on older satellite image, you'll see like the park run pond, as I'm calling it. It's the shape is there, but it's just grass and surrounded by trees. It's fascinating. And then the developer put in the foundation of the trails, and then it's been handed over to the city, and they're going to be paving everything. So even though they're not paved, there are still a lot of the just gravel tracks on the other side of Hazeland Road, which you can
Yeah.
explore as well. It's a fantastic area.
Nice. I know before we have parked down, there's another park down there, like a baseball park, I think, and
Yeah,
we've run back that way to the end where we start, and then we've run back down that way before
yeah,
as we've trained for a marathon. So I'm looking to do that probably sometime this summer, later this summer, something like that. Maybe get some ladies together, or not just ladies, because there's guys that are doing it as well. But not everybody, like, first of all, it's hard to train for a marathon. It's hard to train for your
yeah,
first marathon. It can be lonely, you know,
yeah.
it's just females out there, and I'm not saying males don't have to worry about it as well. You just like safety in numbers,
Oh,
and it's just
definitely.
right, it just kind of helps. And so I'm
Yeah.
trying to kind of get that organized, and we'll see. I talked to Jerry about it as well, and I think we're gonna get some together, so we might see you at a future park run, right?
If you're there early, you might catch us setting up the course at sort of
True
6:15.
statement. We could even like be like, "Hey, no alligators, you're good." So, okay. So, and this is my favorite part of every podcast because I love one of my favorite things to do is to learn from people. We all have such different experiences. We all have lived lives, and then we come and just run together and we share ourselves through those runs. But one of my favorite parts is to talk about advice, right? And so, do you have one piece of advice for the Behind the Bib listeners?
Um, I would say from my own experience, I think um, anything's possible. As I mentioned, not being a particularly fit younger person and then just
Uh-huh.
starting out running. Um, if you've got that goal of doing if you just think, yeah, let's say you can run 5K in 35 minutes and you think, oh, I'd just love to be able to do that. I know people that can run under 20 minutes. Can
Hmm.
I do 25 minutes? And I would like to say, yes, you can. You've just got to put your mind to it and do it. And for me, it was you just said about running by yourself, but that's very true. For me, it was like running and training with other people that did it.
Mm.
So just don't be afraid to get out there and set that goal. These things are achievable if you want to do that run, if you want us to break that stuff, 20-minute 5K. And then my second, just very, and I didn't ask for a second piece of advice, but I was recently reminded of something. So I am now in the habit of like turning up on a Wednesday night and listening to Jeff Playing to his speech at the pub run, and then it's like, hey, off we go, and like go.
Uh-huh.
So a few weeks ago, I joined in one of the Rocket City Runners runs.
Oh, yes, I love
Um,
David Whitehead.
Yeah, and it's like they warm up, they do
Oh,
exercises.
yeah, it's a
So
whole thing.
important. So
Yeah. And then they cool down, right?
they cool down. Yeah, we should all be doing that more. I say we, I mean I don't. And then we get injured and then we have to go to the physical therapist and pay money.
You should be doing more warm up, and you should definitely
Yeah.
be doing more cool down. But it's funny, David does do a great job, and he has like people doing specific jobs. Like he has a social media person, and then he has somebody that leads the warm ups and somebody that leads the cool downs, and like,
There are places where like the park runs have closed down. So park runs have started up and they've not been successful. I mean,
oh,
not
okay.
not everyone is successful, but
Yeah.
I think the running community in Huntsville is
Oh,
already
yeah.
proving that this will be successful and it will
Oh,
continue because there's just such an
absolutely.
interest and there's so much support.
I agree. I agree.
I
Huntsville
was
very
very,
much is a sporty city. We really
yeah,
are.
I was so disappointed yesterday. But one of the reasons for being disappointed we had to cancel is because Suzanne Swift had been like pushing on her social medias, like, let's do parkrun tomorrow, let's do parkrun on Saturday. It's like, and then we had Fleet Feet people arriving. It's like, yeah, we've got all these people coming. It's like,
All the bigger runners. Yeah, all the Fleet Feet team is
lightning.
coming, and yeah, we're done. We can't do it.
I was thinking, well,
But
we could because of like this could be our biggest event. Who knows? But lightning.
that gives me an idea. Maybe timing with like every woman's marathon training, with maybe a Fleet Feet training out there, with maybe
Yeah.
a park run.
Well, that's the
Oh,
thing, isn't it?
interesting.
If Fleet Feet have training programs, and if the people are training for a 5K or another event, and as part of the training, the coaches wanted to bring people out to park run. I mean, everyone is welcome. We'll always be
Mm-hmm.
there. So people are very welcome just to come and make their training as part of the park run and join in.
It's wonderful. And Alistair, what you do for our community, offer not only So it's one thing to have an idea, right? And like, hey, I wish we had a park run here in Huntsville. It's another thing entirely to take on the ownership and to take on the responsibility of saying, we need a park run in Huntsville. So I'm going to bring one here. So I'm going to do the work. I'm going to get all of the things, the insurances and the risk assessments and all of the stuff. And then commit to, I'm going to host this every Saturday morning. I'm going to collect the volunteers. I'm going to mark the course. I'm going to have the timings. I'm going to do all of the stuff. You do all of that. And I know you have people that help, but you were the brainchild behind it, and we would not have it in Huntsville if it were not for you.
Well,
So,
thank you. Oh, and I've had, I mean, yeah, and the volunteers I've mentioned, but along the way, even before we launched, I was getting help as well. Like, Greg Gelmis
oh,
was
I love Greg.
helping me in the early days as well, and then got to know Jeff, and Jeff was helping. So, it's
Mhm.
been, yeah, there's been other people helping as well. Like Greg was introducing me to the correct people at Parks and Recreation. I met
Nice.
what were they? David Delisser and Eric. I can't remember Eric. Eric does the
I
special
don't
events, I
know.
think. But yeah, was introduced to these people. We got on the right track through Greg,
Mhm.
and then Jeff's been helping out, and Jeff's still helping out as well. We're looking at how we can
Every step.
publicize more and how we're going to get out there just to spread the word. So
Excellent. Well, I hope that Behind the Bib can help with that a little bit at least, because Parkrun is a true resource for our community. Thank you for everything that you do to for our community. Thank you for bringing it here. And folks, if you are interested in registering for Parkrun, I will put the link down below. And with that, Alasdair, we will say thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for doing what you do. And we will see you next time you are Behind the Bib.
thank you.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye bye. What a wonderful conversation with Alasdair. Is he not just the most fantastic human being to ever walk the face of this earth? I just think the world of him and what he's doing for our Huntsville running community, bringing folks in that have specifically come to participate in the Hayes Farm Park Run as Park Run tourists, folks coming in from New Zealand and from Australia and from Pensacola, Florida, and all over the place. So, Alasdair, just fantastic, wonderful job. I know that you were humble enough to say well, it wasn't just me. There was lots of folks like Greg Gilmris and Jeff Plain and everyone that's helping you through the process, which is absolutely true. We cannot do it alone. It does take a village. However, if it wasn't for your commitment and for your passion to bring it to Huntsville, it would not have happened. So thank you from the bottom of my heart and from everybody else's that has ever participated in it or might in the future. Thank you for doing it. I appreciate it. All right, folks, speaking of races and runs, let's talk about a few that are coming to Huntsville. We have the PGB Corporate 5K Gold Star Aloha Run Edition. That's the one where I talked to Jose a couple of weekends ago or a couple of weeks ago. That's the PGB, which stands for Project Give Back Corporate 5K Gold Star Aloha Run Edition. That's coming up on July 26th. I still need my costume for that. I just want a costume. I might have to show up and not have one. We'll see. But I'm working on it. I'm going to get there. Also coming up is the culmination of the Greenway Grand Prix. It's the big finale on August the 1st. As well as getting into August, we've got the Running of the Bulls 5K and 1 mile fun run. That one's put on by Fleet Feet and Suzanne out there. So August 23rd, it's going to be hot and flat. And then we have coming up on Labor Day, the Race for Justice. It's a 5K, 10K, and there's a super special option that race director Jerry Plain has included with that race that you're not going to want to miss. All right, folks, it is hot here in the South, and we are doing our best to cope with it, but we are still racing. It's still out there. So if you want to join any of the races, I will have the links down below as well as the link to park run. So if you're not in the mood for racing, or if you're not wanting to, if you're just visiting the area, maybe you're a park run tourist. I'll put the link down below so that you can go and register. Again, it is free. However, you do need to register through the park run system so that you can get your handy dandy little barcode. And then you can run any park runs all over the world. Like Alasdair said, there's more than 2,300 out there, with some of the park runs being over 1,000 people. Can you believe that? That's pretty cool. If you want to find out more about Huntsville races, Huntsville runs, Huntsville club runs, all of these things that are going on in our local running and outdoor enthusiast community, head over to huntsvilleruns.com and provide your email address, and the lovely Will Nevin will put you on the list to receive the Huntsville Runs newsletter that comes out every Sunday. That newsletter has all of the upcoming races, all of the upcoming runs. There's runs in the morning, there's runs at night, there's runs in the afternoon, and there's runs in the middle of the night. That is a thing when you live in Huntsville, Alabama. All right, folks, y'all stay cool out there. We are under a heat advisory probably until I start putting Christmas lights up, which, if you know me, that's somewhere right after Halloween. Yep, I just straight up skip Thanksgiving. Come after me. I dare you. So, heat advisory probably until November. Take your salt, take your pickle juice, take your electrolytes. My favorite is the Element grapefruit in the can right now. And in the little packets, my favorite is the Element mango chili. So those are my recommendations. Make sure you do all of those things. Try to stay cool. Let go of your pace expectations. I am speaking to myself really mostly when I say that. Let go of your pace expectations, because it's just going to be hard during the summer. But don't worry, those PRs are going to be coming in the fall when the temperatures start to decrease, and then that humidity is down around 10 or 15%. It is just going to be delicious. I can't wait. All right, folks, if you haven't done it already, check out Behind the Bib on Instagram, Behind the Bib on Facebook, and Behind the Bib podcast on YouTube, where you can see yours truly in a video if you so desire. Thank you so much for being here. Let's keep showing up for one another, whether you are first, whether you are last, or whether you are somewhere in between. And I will see y'all next time. We're Behind the Bib. Y'all take care. Bye-bye. You've been listening to Behind the Bib, where we have real talk for every runner.